Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally live. Thank you for everyone that showed up, that made it, that's been waiting here for a while. Sorry, YouTube just kind of jacking with me. No, I have not messed with your heads. For everyone else, guys, we got a very interesting weekend with what's going on with Israel, and I don't. So we got quite the red open. So we haven't seen an open like this actually in a while. One of the first comments on here is a great time to sell call spreads on oil, I would think. I don't think so because of what's going on overseas. That might actually impact that. Yeah, and with oil going up like that, it might be a good time to go long oil, even though we are inside this. Maybe a good time to sell put spreads on oil. This was literally just asked in the last stream too. Do I see oil going to that $100 mark with this kind of excitement? Probably. And I guess we'll kick it off with that. So Israel was, I don't know, blindsided. They were attacked. They're equating to like their September 11th. You know, like they were coming across the border, both air and ground. Over 2,000 rockets were sent. I don't know. If you watch the video, it just makes you want to go over there and start handling things, you know, yourself. But anyway, that very much could be a like a black swan event. And I would hate to. We've been talking about how an excuse might pop up, and I would really hate to call it that excuse because that's where you're borderline like. Is that the excuse, or did that happen? We're going to run with it as far as the stock market goes. I doubt anyone out there is like, you know what we should do? Kill hundreds of people and then make money on stocks. Brad tried to tell you OIH was a long hold. I'm trying to tell you there's a million more benefits to oil futures. I'm very much gonna be watching oil right here. Just to kick it off. So what we normally do is we go over the dollar, the Russell, the NASDAQ, the S&P. Given what's going on overseas, that's why we see the gap up in oil. That's also why we see the move down as far as the markets go. We'll check the NASDAQ and the Russell out here too here in a second. Everyone's thinking we might have to print a whole bunch of money because how's you know how America likes to do it. We play world police, we print a whole bunch of money, and we give it to them. So that could devalue the dollar. So it'll be interesting to see if the dollar goes down while the markets go down. Which is something I talk about a lot. Now, the dollar and the market are not inverse of each other. That's why we can't call them inverse. Although often, you know, as you see the dollar selling off, you'll see the markets push up, and kind of vice versa. You know, that being said, if you told me, hey, the dollar was just gap down, soaring down, just crap the bed today, you know, I would assume my money would be on the markets were probably green that day. Most of the time, I would be right. I'd be interested to see if that's a tiny bit of a push-up. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the dollar plays out. So as far as oil goes, one more time before we move on to the normal stream. All right, I'm actually going to go long oil right now. I'm going to put my stop right below that wick, so give me 1 second. This conflict has been going on about 1,000 years or so. Not sure what the meltdown is about, but it could get ugly this time. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. It's funny because that's what everyone's saying. It's like they've been at war for like ever since the Bible was printed, you know? Like, but how many times did they fire 2,000 rockets in one setting, kick down the border, you know, and then just go in on them? Give me 1 hot second, guys. Crude oil. Why is it not pulling up? Why are we not pulling up? Would that be good for our US dollar Japanese short? It would. If it were to pan out that way, yeah. But Hamas killed civilians intentionally this time. Is that the difference? I saw them taking civilians like prisoner and all that. I was like, man, just go get them. You know, like the one thing I'd never get is how wars take so long. Like a war should be fought in about 2 weeks. About how long it took me to finish that war. All right, we're gonna go with CLX. Come on, here we go. Sorry, haven't had oil up in a bit. All right, so CLX, putting my stop at 84.50, which is actually right there, right below this wick. So as long as that's good, we are in at 86.14. So right now you're seeing 86.09, but there's the bid and ask, so I'm just getting in. So that's that. So right now I am long. Hopefully what it does is, where's my long position at? Icons. How do the emojis just make me laugh every time now. Here it is, long position. So long right here, stop right here. Now what would be really cool is if we can make it all the way up here. Now, I would love to just trail it and make it to that $100 mark, but right now I got to worry about that. I got to worry about an instant rejection right here from this yellow zone. Like, we might think this might be some uncertainty. Bond markets are closed tomorrow, so a big player is not playing tomorrow. It's kind of like playing chess and the other guy's not really paying attention. And is he going to come back Tuesday and just start moving pieces around? And we just did not expect that. So that's the trade I just took in the oil future. So if you're trading like an oil ETF, it'll probably just gap up in the morning. It'll be crazy. James says it's time for the gap fill on oil. Yeah, for the oil futures contract, yeah. So, Lisa, this is actually a CFD. So if you don't pay for the data, this will show you like the candle movements. So I do that just so everybody can follow me. But what I'm on is CLX. All right, as far as the dollar goes, so a little bit of a green open. Hopefully it does continue this trend down. As far as the US dollar, Japanese yen short that we're in, hopefully it's melting down. So we're still rejecting this zone. We already got in this zone. We did not tag out. Typically a move like this, not really in Forex, but like if you watch me in stocks, this move would have happened. I would have moved my stop up, it would have tagged out. I would have got back in, kind of just watched it. We did add on. But ultimately, the stop is still up there. CFD is contracts for difference. Overseas, they don't have options contracts. So they have that. It's literally just paper contracts that says, I bet it goes here. It's almost like gambling on the stock market, almost like sports betting on the market. So no real like market flow. Like if I went in on a CFD and I bought 10 million, I would get an instant fill. There's no like fill issues because it's not like real shares being bought there. Alright, so as far as, I guess let's check out Bitcoin. Nothing. So if there's going to be a scare and the dollar sells off, we might see some hedging activity come in. You might see the Bitcoin get a nice little pop. I never posted in the Discord chats. Well, you guys should just know. Just kidding. Give me one. Give me 1 second. Do you trade options on futures? I do. More sell them than anything. Don't quote me on this. I don't think I've ever bought one. I think I've just sold options on futures. Thank you for that, Cody. Let me let everybody know. There's no delivery of physical goods or securities with CFDs. Yeah. Let's see. OIH is an ETF that follows oil. Let's cover that real quick. OIH. So tomorrow, a lot of people will probably be surprised if they don't actually track the underlying, which is why I don't really zone this stuff out. If I was watching this, I would still track out oil. You guys have always noticed like there's no zones on like QQQ and IWM, but it's all on the underlying because that's anytime you can watch the underlying, that's just what I do. This will gap up in the morning, and that's where gap fills and stuff like that. I will make fun of you on that. If you're trading gap fills on like OIH or like on an ETF, it is easy to make fun of that. So that'll likely gap up in the morning. Man, so far it's been a pretty good hold if you've been in it. Chris says, Don, been watching you for a while. Love you, man. I almost said it back. You know what? There's some, when I read that, I almost said it right back. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I can't say the L word. I'm broken. You know. But, man, that was a close one. You got me there. I'm growing with you guys. Your obsessions will be a bloodbath. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes, where this continues. I don't want to seem like I'm excited about it because I know it's war. I hate when people say war is profitable. But are we going to be the world police on this one? Are we gonna just ship them a bunch of money? Are we gonna send troops over there? Like, how is all of this really going to unfold? What does that mean for oil? Transportation of it. Like, if they're going to be a squeeze again. I'll probably go heavy on XOM. It's oversold anyways. Don't let me forget to go over that real quick. Lisa's had to process that in my head, but thanks. Lisa, it's almost like their form of options overseas. We have options, they have that. Alright, so what'd the Russell do? Russell right back down. Alright, so I told you guys when we get anywhere, so last week I came out smelling like a rose. As far as, like, I bought IWM, and shout out to anybody in the chat that agreed, because we bought IWM calls and SPY calls, and they were down. I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and hold it. And then the last day they come back from the dead like some zombies. Closed both of them green. Was amazing. Glad I did. I talked about buying IWM leaps. And, kind of getting in right here. With what's going on, I want to see just how much energy we break through. Let me zoom in for you guys. I want to see, do we hold this zone? Let's give it till at least Wednesday. Let's let the dust settle. Let's see what happens with Israel. Are they going to fire back? And then is that like is that the main tussle and then we kind of just disperse? Or do we just start to see it really developing into something different? Because if we just kick that door in, because we found all the buyers right here, and I'm starting to question how many buyers are still at this zone. If you're new here, guys, it's not just that zone, but how we got there. And if you went long right here, you were fine. But how many times is that door going to remain up until somebody kicks it in? So it gets weakness every time we knock on it. So I want to see if we just break and crash right through that. I'll check out IWM leaps here. If we are in waterfall mode, I'm not going to go buying the leaps. I want to see. Now here's what I will do. Let's say it's waterfall mode like this, so I'm hanging out. But then I see that, or I see that. I see that base out. I see some of the opposing force, and it happens to land somewhere right on one of these boxes. That's probably when I'll grab IWM. I'm going to go 9 months out, 9 to 12 months. And again, it's because I think all I'm going to do is play the horizontal play. And if I thought it was going to just shoot straight up, I would go much sooner. Because it doesn't take 9 months to go from, let's go from this bottom peak to the top. It took 61 days. That's a far cry from 9 months. But I want to save us some room for some chopping around, or maybe it dips a little bit further. When I give it 9 months, it's not because I'm going to manage it in the next 9 days. Like, it's going to have to take something drastic for me to say, I'm shutting that thing down right now. It's a lot of time value left to just throw that away. Restless tempting again. Yes, I agreed. Made some nice money on it. Yeah, for anybody that joins my chat, I don't do call-outs. I just talk about all my positions. And if you happen to agree, congrats. Your numbers are pretty close to mine. All right, IWM. Chat, I do have the Excel. I'll post a picture. Let me get the top line in for you guys. IWM 176.97, because these numbers will be important to watch this week. And how we'll know that overseas is probably really affecting things is when we see it just start crashing through these lines. Because obviously this was a surprise attack. So to stay within this range, everything's all right. If we're going to really shock and awe and surprise, people are going to start buying puts. You're going to see this thing gap down. We're going to start really going for it. Treating it like a baby in the oven. I don't know how to take that. All right, let's go QQQ. Let's just knock these out real quick. As far as the Qs go, stayed in that range, made a mad dash for it right at the end. 372.79. All right, lower line, 356.61. Midship group, give me 1 second. I'll screenshot it and post it in the chat when we're done here. Got the notification, managed right at the peak. That was marvelous. Nice. You were the only one speaking up that you were in it, so that's why I was tagging you. It's time to Time to manage. Get that thing in gear. All right, as far as the NASDAQ goes, kind of got to that area, sold off. Now, almost making it zone to zone just on Friday. Again, are we selling off now because of what's happening overseas, or because we hit that zone, right? That was a pop-up. Now we're going to be, there's some profit-taking, shorts entering, some kind of sell-side activity. I would think there's probably a little more uncertainty in this one just due to the size of this candle. If you've been watching me every Sunday, our opens look more like this. Little tiny red candles compared to what we're seeing right now. So that tells me something different's going on, and everybody's really kind of talking about this. I'm going to equate it to that right now. Not that I'm a big news guy, but news is kind of like the carrot dangling in front of the rabbit's face. It just kind of keeps the rabbit moving. Without that, your little brains would implode, because why did it move? There wasn't news. Someone told you it revolved around that. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, I got to say that might equate to some things getting blown up. So we need to watch out for that. We're about to delete all these anyway because I'm tired of 9 trillion zones. Guys, can you do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button for me? 83 of you guys here. I need at least 43 more of you guys to hit the thumbs up button for me. As far as the market goes, technically we're testing this zone from the top. We go any higher time frame. I guess it'd have to be the weekly. Never mind. There we go. I don't want to say obvious, because if we get below this blue zone, we're probably headed straight to the yellow zone. I don't know if you needed to come on here to know that. I gotta say, even breaking below this, if I was going to give this any kind of grain of salt, if I was long right now, I would give it to about there, and that would be it. If it broke that, I gotta say I'd be out. If I was long ES right now, if I was going to catch that knife, that's where I'd put the stop loss. I would even consider, so what I do in futures a lot is, like, I'll take a play like this, like I'll go long or I'll be long. Maybe I bought down here. So if I bought one contract right here and now my stop is in the green right here, I might put 2 stops in place, so 2 sell orders. So it'll sell the one contract I'm long and then sell short another contract, so I'm instantly short. So if you ever hear me say, like, I was long and then I was short and you're wondering, like, how did he get short so fast? It's because I set it up to do it, so it's literally an automatic just switch. I'm not actually going on my phone and clicking going short. I just set up ahead of time. So when it tags, like, hey, if it gets here, I want to go short. I want to X out of my longs. Not only that, I want to go short, so I double up on them. But I got to say, even breaking that, I bet we're coming right on down here. And I just don't think that we might get a quick little hiccup right here, but I bet we are coming back down. And again, guys, this is all because this red candle, just characteristically, bigger than the other ones. We've seen a bunch of Sundays where it's nothing. Again, a normal Sunday, green or red, is like this. My typical Sunday spiel is like, yeah, we're green, but if you're long over the weekend, I wouldn't be popping any bottles right now, because there's a lot of time before market opens. And the same with red. You know, like, oh, you swung puts over the weekend, but we're talking about a candle that's this big right here where my mouse is. Like, all right, big deal. No reason to get excited. That can get erased in 5 minutes, you know. So given the fact that this one's a little bit bigger, there's probably a little bit more uncertainty. The thing is like, bonds aren't open tomorrow, so I'm gonna take whatever happens tomorrow with a grain of salt. Let's see what happens on Tuesday when real stuff's back in the market, and kind of see where we go. For now, I gotta remain on edge. I gotta say, my finger is, if you're following my Twitter, it's still just Don Francho across the board. Instagram, Twitter, all that. I posted the other day, like, hey, fingers on the trigger. Like, I'm going to go short at the drop of a pin. I kind of expected a red opening, but is there any kind of follow-through? Is there any kind of action that's going to happen after? If this is it, and we kind of just stood around, and next thing you know, like, we're green, what kind of Tuesday's going to have to show up to really make me switch back to short again? So, that's kind of where I stand. Let's see, buy the war. So we loading up right now? Vinay, you buying call leaps? Oh yeah, it's not Twitter, it's X. I'm not used to that. Is anybody else used? Does anybody just say X like it's a normal thing? HAL or NOC? I'll take a look at this. I'm not sure. Give me 1 second. SPY. We got. Let's see. SPY. What was our top line on SPY? 429.54. Okay, a little bit lower. 429.54. Where is 421.84? All right, so there's our expected range for that. Let's just go over the Magnificent Seven. We'll rock and roll, and then I think I think what I was going to start doing was on the first Sunday of every month, I just kind of make that the mentorship stream. But because I didn't let the mentorship know, you guys let me know. Should we continue this all into one, or should we close this down and go into the private stream? Mentorship, it's up to you. So get your keyboards working. YouTube, now's your chance to beg them. 273.34, 273.34. All right, bottom line for Tesla is 247.72. 772. Just get it done. I don't care. Like says continue. $30 gap, gold gap up. Oh shoot. Okay. I'm too new to make that decision. Lisa, doesn't matter. If you're 1 day old, you're part of the family now. Does not matter. You are vice president. Look at Meta going for it. Who's excited about Meta? We are still very much in it. Top line on Meta 326.93. And the bottom line 303.93. I am going to set an alert right here on Meta, because if that does dip outside of an absolute meltdown, they fire a rocket at the U.S. or something like that, like I'll probably be buying the dip on that. You're the boss, up to you. You can just stay here. Not unless we see 90 thumbs up. Okay, I need 45 more thumbs up. And we'll just continue this. We'll do the mentorship stream. We going up or down tomorrow? I'm going to go ahead and guess down for now. If I'm going to throw that dart. 335.70. Let me get all these in place, and then we will 318. We'll move on. See, if we pull back into this yellow zone on Microsoft, kind of hang out, that's just going to end up making like just a great bull flag pattern. So until we break below, I got to stick to the charts. But if I see panic and everything in the charts, you know, again, we're back on short mode. Hit the like. Oh yeah, we need what do we need? 41 more likes. 100 people, you guys here. We should at least have 90 likes. All right, Nvidia top line for the expected move 475.45. Let's see, Nvidia 439.79. And what you guys see as far as Nvidia goes right here is we talk about how if it goes up, I tag out, I get back in. That's why there's two boxes here. It's not two separate plays. Can you imagine stopping out? Why is my... That's where I would have. 75 likes. We can keep the stream here for the peasants. Well, they got either way. Let's do 35 more likes, and we'll keep the stream going. So you're not thinking a couple green before dump. That's what I was thinking before Israel getting attacked. I think this one could get pretty serious. Yes, on Friday I was talking about Monday, Tuesday being green. Hopefully Wednesday morning get like a lunchtime turnaround. That would be the peak. That would play out picture perfect. But just giving what we have now, I think we might end up going south. Okay, we got Amazon. 42 punts down on the ES. Yeah. Amazon's expected move. And again, if you guys don't know what these expected moves are for this week, I'd at least pay attention. Because if we get outside of these levels, it could be because things are getting weird. And that would not be the time. You know, you're not trying to cut your teeth on weeks like if you're brand new to the market, maybe you're trying out a brand new strategy, this might not be the best time to be doing that. So everything stays on track until it doesn't, if that makes sense. 173, 1. God, that'd be crazy if Apple just ran up into that next zone. I gotta say, if Apple just comes back down to that, you have puts on Oh, you went long puts, Lisa? Not that I wish anyone would get attacked, but I think anybody with puts over the weekend is probably gonna be all right in the morning. 133.86. Top line 141.30. What a crazy Friday to just have it turn around like that. So that looks like we're just coming right back into the zones. So people either buying a bunch of calls and puts right at that level. Vinay's got a 0 DT put. That's probably going to pay out amazingly. All right, let's talk about the... Looks like... All right, as far as the expect, everyone voted for the same plays. Ford, SoFi, and AMD. I think given... AMD is the one I would consider. Casey, I like your Ford play, but I don't sell my shares of Ford. AMD long. So AMD long stop loss 116.90. Oh, so 105.12 is your stop loss. I bet we're probably going to gap below that. What I will so here's what we do in the midship group. So everybody will post a chart, and then you vote on the plays, and then I take the top one, and I tell you how I would trade it. So while it is still very much everyone else's ideas, it's still how I would trade it, how I would zone it, and you have it coming. So you're even using my chart. I'm not gonna say his name's Trevor because it's definitely not that. But where's his long play? Here we go. So what you have is like this right here. And I gotta say, if you made a habit out of buying things that's coming into the bottom of a zone like that, it's one of those things that you're probably not gonna be here next year. Because the chances of us just blasting right on through that, like it never existed. Like typically there's some kind of hang up right here, like this gets above, like we dance around, maybe we reject. Even this, before it sent it, still had a red candle. So that was actually your play. Now, I actually am going to take this play because I take these plays every week so we can talk about how I would manage it. Now, this particular one, so I'm going to go short this. I'm going to put my stop at 109.85. I would like to have my take profit down here, but let's see what kind of wicks and choppiness we get at that blue zone. If this gaps anything below... I don't know if I'll take it. If it gaps below 105.35, I just don't know if I'll take it. If we kind of hang out here or anything below, then tomorrow morning, an hour and a half before it opens when I'm allowed to trade, I'll go short shares. We'll manage it throughout the team. What are my thoughts on Boyle? Let me just see. What's natural gas up to? A little bit of a red open. Interesting. So which one's Boyle? Is it the bull or the bear? Boyle Ultra. Okay, so this is a natural. I would rather go cold. KOLD. I would rather go long cold. So when natural gas sells off, this one will go up. I guess if you were gonna try to fight it, do both. I don't know why I said bold. I guess you could go long with the stop at like 66.45. Go long both of them. See which one tags out. Kroger. Just a nice trend down. I'd wait for a pop up and then go short. Nice. That's a nice play, Vinay. I feel like selling puts on the NASDAQ. Good premiums. It's probably worth. So I can't tell you to do with your money, but I would say it might be worth waiting to see how tomorrow shakes out. Let's see, or even Tuesday. Let's see how some volume really shows up. Unless you're kind of doing, like the next day or same day expiration. If that gets weird and then that candle just turns bigger. The thing is, again, every Sunday we talk about it. Here's like a normal Sunday candle right here, just that tiny little red one. We're already telling you like, hey, there's a red flag right here. That's more than it normally is. So is that going to continue, or is this a knee-jerk reaction and everything's fine? Because it's going to be one of those plays where you sell some NASDAQ puts, and I was just being too scared, and it was just the best play I've ever had. We turn on the dime, and we send it. Turns out no one cares. It didn't affect, China. Didn't affect their Apple factory, so everything just goes for it, right? Or we melt off because we start escalating, and then that ends up being a premium you didn't like. Think XOM is going to pay some bills this week? Ooh, I do like XOM. So I have XOM in a dividend account. So this alert for me, I'm going to buy it. If it gets above that alert, I am going to buy XOM as a trade. Hopefully, so tomorrow morning, I'm sure that alert will go off. That's more of a reminder than anything else. If it gaps down, I'll never have to worry about it. If it gaps up, goes up, that alert will go off, and I'll be in it. So I'll go long right here. I probably will. Yeah, I'll put my stop at 103.35. Now, I'll have to have my realistic, that's where your take profit have to be. Hopefully I can manage it somewhere up to here so the whole trade looks like that. But we can talk about take profit. We can dream and hope all we want. There's got to be a certain level of management right here. I don't think we're going to just bounce right through it. We throw off a wick like this. Now, if it gaps down and shoots up, I'll be fine. If that ends up being a wick to both sides, it can tag me out. I'll have to get back in. In that case, what it'll end up looking like by the time I'm all said and done is a wick tags me out, so I get back in, maybe a new stop down here. That's what it looks like. It would just be really cool, though, if I could avoid stopping out and push up like that. But everything I do, so I'll enter this trade tomorrow. As we push up, I'll move my stop loss to in the green, and then I'll just start trailing it. And that's how I'll handle that one. I look for fear and a turnaround. I go very far away and sell a put for good premiums. Very far away. I don't get greedy. Yeah, I do like that. Selling puts is, well, selling any options is not where you want to be greedy at all. Those are the base hits. Those are the just take it. I do the same thing. I'm not chasing 30 deltas like I think a lot of others are. I would rather collect less and manage it less and just call it a day. I want to babysit this thing. All right, what's Palantir up to? Let's see if that might just gap down from the overall market. As far as Palantir goes, just the quick rundown. Anything above 1680, we're gonna get bullish. Anything below 1525, probably headed south. We've kind of seen that game of tug of war this last little bit. Getting above this zone, I think, could be pretty decent for it. We should have closed the Palantir call we sold. We were up like 60. Yeah, I know. I really thought about it. I did my main account. Not in the growth account, though. Yeah, when that melted off like that, they were... Oh, it was actually down here. They were great. But... Oh, everybody following the growth account. So if you're on the Patreon, you're paying the $5. If you're in my group... we are probably going to start easing up on the calls. So we have Palantir, Neo, Ford. What's the other one? Intel. We're gonna sell some calls on those, and we're probably gonna let them go. Because what I don't want to do is we get rough, things sell off. And then I'm just in a bunch of red positions at the end of the year. I'm going to start letting those go because as we do start to wrap up the year, remember guys, for everyone that just waited for me to get up over 100% and then think, oh man, maybe I should pay the $5 and watch that. We're starting over every year. January, we're going to start with 0. Except what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell everything. And I'm going to put it all into SPY. We're going to let that account just grow. So if you've been following me from the beginning, eventually we'll be above PDT and we'll be rocking and rolling. So hopefully you guys can catch on with that. But anyway, start with 0. The first week of January, we deposit $150. We trade it. We rock and roll. So if it's anything like this year, we'll be above PDT next year. The year flies by, doesn't it? Anyway, so that's why you're going to start seeing... there's going to be a time where I just don't roll. If we get that peak, I'm going to let those go. We're going to call it a great trade. We're still accumulating, and by I mean still going to accumulate Tesla and Meta, but if that's also in melt mode, we're going to let the sellers do their thing. We're just going to have some cash. I might, however, use that cash to sell some put spreads on stuff, but far out of the money. Spreads because I don't actually want to get assigned. So that's how the last part of the year, the last quarter of the year is going to look. Outside of, like, this looks pretty decent. I got to worry about sellers here at the type 2. given what's happened over the weekend, if I was in this as a trade, I don't like to put stops in the zone like that, but I'd probably put my stop at 1630. Ford's going to the ground. What is Ford doing? Are they going to strike? So that looks like a... If I was taking this as a trade, I would almost put like stop orders in. So like, hey, buy this thing at 1216. Has to get there first, then buy at 1216. Short this thing at 1168, kind of thing. I certainly wouldn't be selling any iron condors. Not that I would on something that's cheap, but maybe buy one. Any tech will do during this war. Learning. What do you mean any tech will do? Pinned. Vinay says pinned. You talking about the price for the NASDAQ? Yeah, so we got the fear open, the gap down. I think now everyone's looking around. So again, I'm talking about that knee-jerk reaction. Something big just happened, and now everyone's looking around like, hey, you selling? I don't know. What about you? I don't know. Like, hey, you doing? How are you doing? Are you long or short? Like, I'm just going to wait for somebody else. I don't know. So I want to see where that continues. If this stays there forever, eventually that fear goes away. We do start to creep back up. Okay, any tech will do during this war. I guess we're going to be buying the dip. For uncertainty and all that, you'll see sell side probably across the board, depending on how big it gets. Because everyone's saying the same thing. They've been fighting for thousands of years, but this time looks like it could be different. Like, they're not just arguing on social media. They're out for blood. Sheep followed the leader. So sell it all, Don, and move the market. I wish I could move the market. You guys probably don't, because it'd be so easy to manipulate the market. AAL, American Airlines. I guess if everyone wants to fly over there. Iran is back in Hamas, so we could enter war now. I'm not even going to pretend to even have the experience to have that conversation. I'm going to let other people in that pay grade do that. From my little understanding and everything else, it kind of sounds like this is probably the closest a real war conversation. Not to downplay Ukraine. As far as American Airlines, that looks like a decent short. I get why someone would be attracted at these levels. Hang on. Let's at least mark that out right there. Right now, coming into that zone, American Airlines looks like I would just short shares. I don't think I'd grab any puts. It's probably not worth the premium. Yeah, but I would go short shares. I'd put my stop 13.15. It was Putin's birthday yesterday. Should have known something was gonna go down. I think that's why. U.S. carrier en route there. What are we gonna do? Would they be stupid enough to shoot at a U.S. carrier? Be one of the worst wars in history, that's for sure. Yeah, it looks like it could be stacking up for something like that. I think we're playing big dog in the area on the other side of the fence. I mean, America likes to jump into everything. There's no doubt there. So the more we get involved, the more, like, if it's kind of like the Ukraine war, hey, we're going to do the best we can, thoughts and prayers, like on Facebook, and then we just send you some blank checks, here's some money, then I think the markets probably do just continue on. But I kind of think we might get a little bit more involved. In that case, things could could get weird. And that's why I say watch these expected moves, because if you start to hear that and we start to unravel, we're going to start breaking these levels. Not only is there panic selling, there's now, because right here you're going to have people, let's say we just gap down, we sell off. It's you, market movers, everybody's selling their positions. The second we cross that line, now it's you, market movers, and the market makers, delta hedging. They're just going short as well, just in full send, and you get this vacuum, this spiral that they just jumped in with both feet, and it can quickly escalate. So, by the way, disclaimer, guys, if we are in full-blown panic mode, if it kicks off like that and we're just seeing the giant red candles, it doesn't matter what color I make that box, right? We could fly right on through that. So if you see we are just in smooth liquidation, chill. Either jump on the short train and trail that thing as far as you can make it. Get every penny you can out of the markets. But if not, you're either on the short train or you're hanging out. Like just wait. Don't get run over. Don't try to stop that train with your bare hands. Or it stops and it goes the other way. It's all fun and games until someone rows a rubber raft up to an American destroyer loaded with bombs. I don't know what kind of bombs they have to have on that rubber raft to even put a dent in a destroyer. I like orange. Those boxes are the best. Yeah, so personally, I'm not going to ignore my zones. But if I see that smooth red sell-off, I'm not going to be buying. I'll just let the meltdown continue. I'll let the bears do their thing. I have zero problems letting there's no FOMO for me. Like, oh, I got to be short. Some of you guys, like, most of you guys, I got to be honest, don't even know how to short. You guys, that's just like, it's like a mental block. Like, out of the thousands of people I've talked to, there's a mental block on shorting shares. But for everyone else that is, you can play both sides of the market. Like, you think you have to be in something. If you're not long, then you have to be short. Like, you're either playing that train or you're not, and I have no problem. If I see a bright red candle, I have zero FOMO to get in. And if I see it tomorrow, maybe if I can catch it early, I'll get in. If not, I'm going to hang out. MJ says, great to see you and Merlin. I do have a lot of fun with Merlin. USS Cole, learn your history. It happened once before. I guess I'll learn my history. I'll learn it. What happened? Did it dent the destroyer? Why shouldn't we buy MP materials at this price range? Shorting is scary. Why is it scary? It's the same thing as going long. You just click buttons and the charts move. Now, doing it without risk management and just being stupid about it, that's incredibly scary. I couldn't imagine being stupid. That would suck. But naked shorting. I like to party naked all the time. Naked shorting. So buying puts, shorting shares. The one thing I wouldn't do is just a naked selling calls. I don't like to just get fried. You know, that's like walking naked into a gun battle. Not asking for that kind of excitement. Hang on one second. What was it? MP materials. As far as Tesla goes, I think that I hate to be like the bearer of bad news. I'm just kind of, I have a bearish out. My finger's on the trigger for shorts right now. My thought, what's going on in my head right now is how far does it gap down and can I get in on the action because I didn't swing short over the weekend. And if it gaps down into that zone, I am a knife catcher. Like I really am. Do I need to be catching that? Because that'll be questions like right at the bell. Did you learn your supply and demand zones from OLT? Online Trading Academy? No. OTA? Probably you mean? No. However, they were the closest. I actually did my own thing for trading, and then I started taking everyone else's courses. I don't know any other traders. I wanted to meet other traders. That's how I did that. And it bugged me that when I would look up YouTube reviews for Online Trading Academy, no one actually had. There's tons of reviews out there, but from people I would call stupid because they didn't actually go. Like, don't give me your opinion on something if you have no experience on the matter. I would call that person stupid very much. Like, hey, just say, hey, I've never been. Here are my thoughts. But hey, this is that. I've never been, but trust me, it is. Like, no, that's that. If the YouTube reviews I saw on Online Trading Academy are probably one of the biggest reasons I went in there because I was like, man, these guys are infuriating to watch. But you'll see my zones are a little bit different from theirs. It was the best training you got. It's not bad. The reason why I never say yes or no in those the review videos was because of the price point. That's it. You're one of the closest. Yeah, mine are a little bit different. For instance, so guys talk about supply and demand. We're kind of looking for that area of, I call them areas of attention, right? Where that game of tug of war is being played, because big banks, market movers, right? They take days to get in position. They can't just click market buy like you and I can. That's why we can make fantastic money, because we can be nimble. We can get in and out. We can do whatever we want. We can dance. Bigger players, they have to use algos to get in and out. Like, not algos to scare you away. It's like, hey, get me in this position, but I need 60 million shares filled, right? You go click market buy on that, you're going to gap that thing up. You can gap Tesla up. And all you'll end up doing is just creating a bunch of strength for everyone to sell into. So you're kind of looking for that. But they'll grab, like, wicks. So, like, their distal line, think distance. That's your, with the opposing force, the opposite side, I guess. So, like, their zone will cover the whole wick. I'll like to do candle bodies because I care about that main bulk of tug of war, and I use those wicks as, like, my stop out. So, just for anybody in supply and demand, if you're ever researching that and you kind of look up what I do, typical supply and demand, if I were just to focus on this, where's my square at? Rectangle. Typical supply and demand probably has that as a zone because there's a wick right there. And they're stopping out right below. So mine would be right here. Now my entry is based on this box still, but I'm thinking type 1, type 2, type 3. My stop out will be right here. So every time you guys see me go a long position, it's below the wicks. Fun fact, someone on YouTube actually said I was cheating because I put my stop below the wicks. You do whatever you want, but that's how I do it. But what I found, if I'm waiting for this bottom wick to happen again, I missed so many more trades. So my accuracy, nothing changed other than I just wasn't in as many trades, and I could get in plenty more. So my focus is probably just a little bit more dialed in. That's all. I didn't find any other changes. Friday was just exit liquidity. Got it. Send it, boys. Friday was weird. Friday going up as much as it did, coupled with what happened over the weekend, I don't know. Alright, so, alright, there's Tesla. MP Materials. Is that MP? There it is. Why shouldn't we buy it at this level? Why, does that look cheap to you? Why should you buy it at this level? Probably going to fill that gap. And then we're going to fill that gap. Haven't you heard gaps fill? Come on. You know these things. Just kidding. What about this looks enticing to you? Well, now, why would I buy this and not just go short? You want to know the easiest hack? If you want to just be profitable or work your way towards it, buy things that go from the lower left to the upper right. See how this chart's not doing that? Your chart, if it looks like that, the worst thing you can do is buy the peak. And if you're not stupid, you have risk management, there's a stop in place. A lot of times it just continues. But if you're buying things that look like this, you're going to have a tough time making it in the market. This is what Merlin and I was even talking about, because I get stuck in trades like this, where I'm buying here and it pops up, my stop goes in the green. It sucks back down. So I'm buying here and it pops up, stops in the green. So I make money on all of these. It's like bird seed, for the pigeons. Breadcrumbs, where I could have just went short, kicked my feet up on the desk, and done any other thing. So why would I care about it at this level? Like, sell me on the idea of buying it at this level. Unless it involves, we're back at 2020 levels. And not to make fun of you, that's irrelevant, right? Who cares where we're at? I don't care about 1980 levels. Why are we at 1980 levels? That's what's concerning. I don't care where we're at. I just question, why are we there? Right now, it looks like everybody's selling this. It's doing a good job selling off. Why? You're going to show up and save the day? Pat somebody on the back, say, good job, I'll take it from here? They're going to continue to sell. Do they make Peloton bikes because their charts are identical? This is 2021 hype. They're sucking it all back out. Who knows how many YouTubers were talking about this. This is a good one to trade for a while. But until this ship turns around, why even worry about it? And I'm being serious. There's over 6,000 tickers right now to trade. Find any other one that doesn't look like this. Why would you want to waste your money, time, brain power, brain cells? I've wasted too much oxygen to even talking about this. Which tomorrow it's probably going to gap up to $50, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But outside of that, if you showed me 100 charts that look like this, I'm going to say the same thing for all 100. Like, hey, move on. Find something different. Like, Oh, what's another one that we just pulled up the other day? It just goes straight up. I'll remember here in a little bit. The pump before the dump, typical. That's kind of what Friday looks like. Friday looks like some politicians playing volleyball. You got to set it before you spike that thing down. And Friday does look like a setup for a spike. ASML. Eli. Okay, yeah. EOY. No. Nope. Ooh. So what I don't like about this is the new lows. Like, yeah, so there's legs down. Ultimately put in like higher lows. Go up, leg down, leg up, leg down. This is where Elliott gets all his waves. This is the market just ebbs and flows, right? And we just broke through 2 other lows. And yeah, we found the opposing force at this zone. That tells you that zone worked. Hey, I was right. We found the buyers. There they are. I gave you the answer key. There's what the buyers are. Cool. Now how are you going to structure a trade out of that? You're going to go long or short. Because I'll show you what both your trades look like. You're in a zone right now. So full stop. If you're going long, that's probably what your trade looks like. And if you're going, well, this would be more like type 3, so your entry is going to be just a bit higher. But if you're going short, bang, bang, boom. I put my stops right above the wick. Probably have a zone. It's got to be right here. So take profit would look like that. It's doing a good job selling off, making new lows. So you're playing the current trend by going short. You're playing the bear flag. Bear flag or reversal, they both look the same. Just depends on where your bias lies. Hang on 1 second, because I do have to... 1 second. I can hear my dog crying. She probably needs to go out. Made some money on ASML last week. Nice. Well, right now, bear flag or reversal. So I can't tell you what to do with your money. I gotta say, I think if I'm playing this, I'd put I'm not gonna take this play at all, but I would take the short play if I was. If I had money on the line, that's where I would put it. BTM. Bitcoin Depot. The depot of all the coin. No, I don't care for this at all. First of all, I don't care if it's $2.74. Second of all, why not just buy Bitcoin? And that's my legitimate argument. Why is anybody buying garbage like this? Why buy Grayscale? Why buy BTM? Why even buy the Bitcoin futures? I get it as a trade, the Bitcoin futures part. I kind of get Grayscale if your particular fund can't buy crypto. Why are you as a person not just downloading Robinhood, Coinbase, anything like that, and just buying the actual coin itself? You can transact with Bitcoin. You can't send me Bitcoin Depot shares, but if you wanted to buy my course, you could send me Bitcoin from your Robinhood account. Like, why not do that? Bitcoin Depot sounds scammy to me. It really does. Like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Was it a SPAC? Why is it $10 right here? Guess what, guys? We're gonna beat the Bitcoin. I don't know, and it's garbage. This is another one that just looks like, now you might be in it, sorry, hopefully you had a plan. Why, sell me on the idea of why I would buy garbage like this. And maybe it's not garbage. I'm sure there's something I don't know that you know, and it's just gonna, and I look so stupid for saying this, especially the Bitcoin people. I know some Bitcoin people, it's their religion. Anything attached to it, just gold. They would rather have that than oxygen. So get it. But I would also, like, I buy Bitcoin. I like it. It's not my religion, but I also have the real coin. Hang on, it was Eli. Let's get back to the other conversation. What is Eli? Is it LLY? Eli Lilly. Yeah, there it is. Sorry, guys. There's 6,000 tickers. I only know, like, 5,900 of them. There's a few that I don't. Okay, so anybody that was looking at that other garbage, why not this? What's wrong with this? You afraid you might make too much? You afraid you might have to pay taxes that year instead of getting a refund? Well, paying the IRS sucks, but it's because you made money. It's not because you lost it and you're broke. So there's something to consider. Lower left, upper right. Quick little hack. Okay, Case says, is this play crap? Well, you said it. It's Ford. So, I don't know. Trade it in a Roth. Grayscale. I'd be all about Grayscale in like a Roth. I don't know about Bitcoin Depot. Or if I was, maybe that would be my. So I've talked about it like the food pyramid, the old diet program used to have, and the sugars was like the little top one. Like that's your sweet tooth. You have a sweet tooth and you want to buy 10 million shares because it's only $2. Then you allocate your a little bit about that. Because if it goes from $2 to $20, fantastic. You spent a little bit, you still made a lot. That's how I would have that. You trade Beto in your IRA. Yeah, all of those are much better than the Bitcoin Depot. I don't know. It just sounds like somebody's screaming at a mic right now trying to sell me that position. Okay, so this trade crap. I was looking at it from the perspective that buyers were stepping in psychologically. Daily looks like we could see more of a move to the upside. Daily candle looked indecisive. Well, the cool thing about this is a bullish engulfing. Like there's your kind of indecisive candle. Closing at the highs. This is probably more indecisive. Indecisive, a little bit of a gap down. Close at the highs, gap down, but bullish engulfing candle. All those spell out bullish. But I do think if we get into panic mode, Ford's not going to sit this one out while everything else sells off. So we might just be coming around. That might be all the hiccup right there. Buyers did show up. That's what created the green candle. Whether it was shorts buying to cover to close a position or stepping in to go long. Yeah, the buyers were there right at that zone. I hate to sound like I'm fear-mongering. I just think with the way the market's stacking up that we might just be bearish tomorrow. Let's see. How do you play? One second. Give him another penny stock. It's funny. Stop. Don't try to encourage it. So you mean the sad diet? Not sure if you're reading Discord chat. Could you zone out PXD 10% pop on Friday from Wall Street Journal that Exxon is acquiring them? Okay, and how do you play that acquisition? Okay, I will. I read part of that. So let me get through this list real quick. Do not let me forget that. I don't have a second stream to fall back on. So, Casey, I wouldn't call it crap. The fact that we're doing, like, my zone's staying right where it's at, but it's almost like if you guys showed me this, I would almost question, should your zone be right here? And that's kind of where we get these, like, little Ukraine zones where we're like, all right, I'm not moving my zone, but I can see why we're not really out of the woods until that breaks. So watching this, if we gapped up tomorrow, I think you're fine. If we gap down tomorrow, the gap up or down tomorrow will probably tell you if we're going to hit that yellow zone or this yellow zone. Stocks trade, no bonds. Yeah, so there is a huge part of the market missing tomorrow. So take that with a grain of salt. Tuesday, we'll come in and see how things really are going. That's what I said tomorrow. I said earlier this stream, maybe if you're joining late, just take tomorrow with a grain of salt, I think. All right, as far as AI goes, still pretty calm. Like, we're basically just making quick little pit stops at these zones. Okay, let's just let everybody know, hey, Don was right. There was that game of tug of war. On to the next one. Here's your next game of tug of war. Hey, everybody. All right, now that we did that, it's time to move on. This is my alert for more AI. I do like it at these levels. But until that selling really stops, it's almost really worth entertaining going short with the stop at $25.85. Give it a little. It's $1.10 per share. So if you really only want to risk just over $100, $110, you'd buy 100 shares. You know, and that's it. SoFi, if I have time. That's all I have. Time. SoFi. So I don't know if you guys have heard, they have a stadium. There's 102 of you guys watching right now, and I don't know if all of you guys know this. SoFi has a stadium. Probably going to $1 million any day now. Like, we're lucky that we have the opportunity. We are blessed to even have the opportunity to buy a stock this cheap. They have a stadium. Did you guys hear that part? Anyway, I'm never going to not make that joke, so whether it offends you or you've heard it a million times, buckle up. See where Dad wants to take the market on Tuesday? Yeah. no kidding. Not the best look for SoFi. If it gets above 840, I'd say we're probably on the up and up. But right now, just kind of testing that from the bottom. I got to worry about how many sellers are at this level. Wow, time to hold count SoFi. So AJ says, I designed the silicone caulking detail for the roof at SoFi Stadium. I mean, so you saw how impressive that thing was. So the whole time were you there? Did you not just think, I need to buy SoFi stock the whole time? You probably walked in, you probably woke up, got ready for work. You woke up to an alarm clock that said buy SoFi stock. You drove there. You saw the sign. You're like, oh, I need to buy more. SoFi's personally, I actually hated on SoFi quite a bit. It wasn't until this year that I started to warm up to it. We bought some shares, started selling calls and puts around it. The premium is actually not bad on SoFi. It's borderline a meme ticker. People like to talk about it, which is why I like to make fun of it. All joking, of course. I don't actually like to be mean or like put anybody down. But when that does happen, the meme stocks, when everybody gets excited like that, you see the premium start to really push up. It's not dead, which makes it a little enticing, you know? It's SoCal who needs caulking and never rains. It might. Is it fireproof caulking? Because it sounds like you guys might get some fire. If you guys are here, can you do me a huge solid? Hit the thumbs up button for me. Make sure you are subscribed. We go over all the good stuff. Gold. Nuh-uh. Are you serious? Why? Why? So this is my alert, guys, to buy. When you see me set these alerts, that means my watch is going to vibrate, and I'm going to buy it. And I specifically said I'm going to buy gold when that alert goes off, because I liked it at that level. I did miss gold. By that much. Oh my gosh, that would have been an amazing trade. Look at the gold futures contract. That's what I'm looking at right now. Should put your alert at the type of 1. Yeah, well, I liked it right here. Man. Unreal. Out today, 1863. Nice. So you almost went zone to zone. No way I'd want to buy it right now with the stop way down here on a futures contract. If we can catch any kind of dip, I do like that one. But I might go pretty heavy into oil, so I want to be careful with this. I do want to go long gold right now, so I am going to keep an eye on this. I will watch the dollar gapping up like that. Can we talk about a gap fill? Please let there be a gap fill. All right. Let's fudge it up there a little bit. So when that alert goes off, I will buy gold. I'm going to have to get... That's going to be quite a bit of room, so I'm probably only going to grab... probably a couple contracts. Nothing big. But that's the panicking buying gold right now, because dollar, I don't know if the dollar pushed up enough to really represent that. But in times of uncertainty or panic, people, they buy the shiny stuff. Speaking of that, let's check out silver. Silver, not as crazy as a gap up. Gold definitely took the first place. See what I did there? Anyway, Cody, I would be looking for a long entry at this point. Can you explain why you selected that price on gold? You can watch it where I said it in the stream. I literally was like, all right, when it gets into this, so that wick wasn't there yet. I was like, all right, no, if we get into this zone, I want to buy it, but I kind of thought we'd just kind of get comfortably in there. And oftentimes, like, you just see there's like that one more like final breath move, and that's why I just put it. I didn't specifically set that dollar amount. I just went over here and clicked the plus button right there. And I just like it inside these zones. That's all. So oftentimes, if you're gonna watch me set alerts, let's really fade this one down. So if you're saying, all right, I'm going to come in and I'm going to buy a type 1. So oftentimes it's trending up. We're making higher highs, higher lows. It's pulling back into this zone. Now, a type 1 for me is we might not get to the type 2, so I want to get it. So let me just paint this out for you guys. I do have a video called Perfect Entry Types that explains this all in detail, but I'm thinking this is going to happen, right? So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going with things. So if I'm thinking type 1, my alert is just above the zone. I want to watch it come into the zone like that. So it's coming in hot, and I'm going to buy. I want to get comfortably into the zone, then I'm right here, and then my type 2 is actually more right there. So this is like my type 1 when we're doing a good job selling off. Like, guys, we're gonna comfortably like get to this zone. We're fine. We're trending up, and like I kind of hope we get there, because sometimes people get a little anxious and they buy early, and it makes that higher high. So that's why my alert will be there. And then type 3 is usually right over here, same level, but ends up filling about there. I love these right here. The type 2s are my bread and butter. So that's where I'm at. That's how I structure all my trades. So really, all I did was I just clicked alert right there, and I missed it by a couple of ticks, which is super annoying. I've missed it by less than a penny before one time, and that almost cost me a monitor. You know, I've never actually broken a monitor, keyboard, or a mouse, but that thought crosses my mind. Like, you know what? I'm gonna break this thing. I'm gonna break it right now. Anyone ever lost a monitor? Looking to sell oil at the daily zone. Sell oil. Oh, you're long oil right now. Not that you follow the news. I can always tell when I've made fun of news too much, because someone's like, they put that disclaimer in the front. Article over the weekend from Forbes. Fed will need to cut because the U.S. can't service debt over 5% rate. Buy gold and Bitcoin because inflation is higher for longer. All of that makes sense, but we'll see. Because the feds, they can't service their debt, so they got to print more money. Either way, that would be bearish the dollar, long the hedging stuff. You're looking to short oil. As far as transporting oil, was it Israel? There was somebody making a case for that and how it would just get bottlenecked and get held up. And I'm butchering that right now, but I thought that very much made sense. And at that point, you would see oil start to really skyrocket. So hope you enjoyed filling up, for cheaper than $5 a gallon. As far as TLT, it just keeps doing a good job selling off. Like, I want to get into a TLT play, but it just looks like a good short, like no matter what. Like, you almost just want to short TLT and put your stop at 86.85. Like, why wouldn't you? You're just gonna buy it just because? And most of you guys are probably thinking like, oh, look at the margin it created. Look how cheap it's gotten. And that's not actually the case. Like that, those are nonsense things people say that have no idea what they're talking about. It's that cheap for a reason, because everyone's selling it, and then here you are like, oh, I got it figured out. Goldman Sachs missed my number, but they should have called me because I got the best deals. And then you're buying it. You're buying what you think is a sale. Turns out it's clearance because nobody wanted it. So I would be careful with that. Just at these levels, I can get it. I'm sure the RSI says it's oversold. I would really be careful. Like, why not buy like a double bottom? Wait for a higher low and then buy it. So it'll bounce. It'll push up. You're probably going to think it's going to gap to 1,000,000. I better buy it right now. But if you're just patient, you'll watch it pop up, hit that zone, sell off, put in a higher low, start to turn. Then you can buy it right there with your stop below that previous low. So if you're wrong, it just continues down. Boom. Let's right here. This is what would have happened. Long position. It pushed up. You didn't have any fun. You waited for the pullback. You bought right here on that other green candle. And your stop was right here. And look, it panned out great. You made $1,000,000. All right? Now, if that didn't happen, here's what would happen. So, you bought, it bounced, turned right. You thought that was the lower high and you were good. And then it did that. That's what stops are for. All right? If anyone knew what was going to happen, you wouldn't need a stop loss. Just use them. Imagine not having a stop loss buying TLT and just watching that evaporate all your money. As far as oil goes on the front month, I still would be bullish regardless. I already bought oil. It's up. So this contract or the next, I would be bullish. I'm a proud Israeli and a regular viewer of yours. Well, I hope everything I can't read your name because I suck. I'm good at bad English, if that makes sense. But I appreciate you watching. And honestly, if I was in Israel, I wouldn't be on YouTube right now. I'd be mowing down the other country. Period. Like, I'm not signing up for the military. I don't care about rules of engagement. I'm just gonna go handle it myself. Like, that's it. I'm a million times ready to go take care of it. I just really want to see the zones. They're the same. I guess if we're getting picky, watch that. We're about to redo all the zones anyway. Ooh, where am I? Let's go right there. There's your main attraction. Where's that $100 mark? Right over here. I would have thought that would have been a little bit clearer. Daily. I don't think I would ignore this right here, as a matter of fact. And seeing this, like, we're still kind of getting down here, but you see that main bulk really starts to buy it up right here. Oil is up because of the war? You don't say. Good talk with Trader Merlin, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. How you been, Jeff? It's been a while. There's a date on the title. It's completely my bad. Thank you for that. That shouldn't have been there. Thank you for that, Donald. Drinking Monster today? No. That's a lie. I did have a sip of one. It wasn't a white Monster, it was a green one. That was it. So my question is one I should know, but haven't quite ever understood. I collected $3 for this spread with 40 days to expiration left. I plan on closing at 50%. Dollar, okay, $1.50. At what price would it benefit from the buyer to exercise it? Hey, let me see what you have. We're gonna green for Halloween. Let me pull this chart up real quick. Okay, so are these call spreads or? Okay, you sold the call spread. Okay, so you sold the 390. You bought the 400 on DE. Okay, so let's go D. Let me just get this out here real quick. 40 days to expiration. Looks like November 20th. Can I like scoot this over? Dang it. Alright, let's go November 20th. We sold 390. Alright, and you bought the 400, so you got a $10 spread. Alright, so you collected $3 for this. Let's just enter all that in. Which is $300 cash. So we sold the call spread. Alright, we're selling off. We're doing just fine. Let me see what the question is. Let me get YouTube back up. The market never goes straight, so you're good. Still alive, long stream. Alex, we're doing the whole thing tonight. We went over the mentorship stream, mentorship play, everything. Okay, November 17th. Alright, my bad. Ta-da. Alright, now we have to move that over. Alright, so you collected $300. You are risking $700 to do so. That sells off. Okay, so your question is, at what price would it benefit the buyer to exercise it? Well, anything above, because you sold them the 390, so they want to buy it at 390. Now you might have sold that spread, but an individual bought this one from you. So how much did he pay for that one single leg? Because if he paid $10 for that contract, it benefits him anywhere above the $400 mark to exercise that and get those shares at 3. He paid $10 per share on that, just this one leg right here. So his average cost would still be $400. So anything above that is where it would start to really benefit him, where he would probably exercise. Anything above this, his cost basis might be down, but anything actually above 390 would be where he still loses money, but he gets what he paid for. He wanted to buy. He's paying you money to buy shares at 390. You're saying, I'm going to provide that to you. So closer to expiration, does it make sense for him to go out and buy the shares from you at 390, or does it make sense for him to buy shares at 387 on the market, 389, 389.50? It doesn't matter. He still benefits more from going to the open market and buying than he does from you. But with 40 days to expiration, you're probably going to watch that one start to look alive right about this mark. Now, if we melt off into this, because just think time value. What's the benefit to this? Why are they looking to let go of their position right now? That's a lot of time to make some green candles and fully recover, make that 100% loss. Now, if we start selling off down to here, just think the further we get down here, when you're thinking options, there's that what-if value that really kind of keeps things going. That's why theta just burns it. Because if we start getting down to here, now it needs to make this move to be 100%. We get any further, it needs to make this move to be 100%. So that's why you'll start to see as we dip down and we kick along the clock right here. If we go over, that price isn't going anywhere, because to do that, that's normal. That would be relatively easy play for that thing to make. So that's what's driving these prices, overall supply and demand just on that particular spread in general. So if it does this, the reason why you're not at 100% loss yet is because it could easily just do that, and it might even just do a leg like this that goes from 100% win to 100% loss for whoever bought that. Okay, so 767. So they paid just over $7. So 397.67 is what they paid for 100 shares if they exercise from you at 390. So no matter it's a spread, no matter what the strategy is, you can always just break down the contract of, if you're a buyer and seller, did you write that or did somebody else write it? What are you going to collect and what do you owe? And then there's going to be the difference in between. How about defense stocks? NOC, rocketed with HAL, GD. Lockheed Martin, I think, is going to be the popular one. Let me break down pins real quick, and then we will... hang on. If I'm wrong directionally, at what percentage loss is your rule of thumb to cut it besides tolerance? So when I'm taking spreads, I'm usually doing in-out spreads, so it's a roulette trade anyway. It's probably more of a time factor. If this thing gapped up to here tomorrow, it would be red, but that's why I have this many days left. So it's going to be more of a... Kind of when I was drawing those paint lines out, do I think we can still recover? Because there's still time value from here to here, from here to here. That's your time value, the left to right. The clock becomes very important on trades like this. So Friday on the options was like the worst thing that happened last week. Because remember, those things were like zero. I talked about almost even selling them because they're just, what are the chances we do that? And then we did. But let's say we're all the way up here. What are the chances that a tweet comes out and says, you know, they mowed over a kid or something, and it tanks it. Probably slim to none, so I probably will salvage that. But yeah, most of the time when I take that, it's a roulette trade. My take profit is good till cancel at 50%. Have a good one, Cody. If you sell calls on Ford, I bet you get to keep them this week. You think Ford's going down that much? LMT fell out of your charting. Oh no. All right, pins type 1 short, stop at 28.55. Let's check it out. Pins type 1 short. Okay, 28.50. I don't like stopping out inside a zone like that. My stop would be above the wicks. It'd be 29.35. So I'd be just over $1 a share on that one. But I do agree that'd be a type 1 short. And I would add on probably more at 28.65. Full same stop at 29.35. So I would have to divide my risk up for that. So if I'm going to risk $2,000, I'd risk $1,000 right here, another $1,000 right here. That would be my 2 add-on points. Hopefully that ship turns around, does this again, breaks through that zone so I can trail it and break that thing out, and hopefully make that trade all the way down here. But if I just use the word hopefully in the plan, we're definitely talking about the next zone down. You got to worry about from here to here first. Baby steps. That's why it was easy to make fun of the AMC traders. Talking about AMC to 100 grand. Has to hit 100 first. You know, like let's get the first milestone before we start adding commas to it. Stop above the wicks on the left. So I see why you picked that one. I just don't like stopping outside the zone, because what if it jumps up to right here, 28.66, you're stopping out and I'm going short. You're literally going to give me those shares and I'm going to profit off of them. And then you're going to hear me being cocky on YouTube the next hour saying, thanks whoever gave me these shares, I made a bunch of money on it. Then how would you feel? When they say the heck with the intrinsic, everyone's different. There's no way to really answer that. What are they feeling on it? What's their position? What's their bias? A lot of factors in that one. All right, Lockheed Martin and XOM will probably be pretty two popular ones. We can just clear this right now. No need for that. Is there a structure right now? All right, so if I'm watching this right now, I kind of want to... on the daily. What is this chopper here? Okay, so I gotta say I'd be looking right here. Then we send it. Let's get the obvious zones out first. Let's go right there. Seeing the price right here kind of makes me want to look for a zone, but really, so we kind of like, we sold off, we gapped up, so there's been buyers here, 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 and here, kind of a little bit right here. There's a gap right there. If there was anything to, I don't know, that gap is the strongest point, because that tells me they don't even want to jack with anybody going short. So gap it above, start triggering all those stops, full send mode. So let's chart that out really quick. And then something going on in the middle right here. I gotta say right here. That's where we're paying attention. And guys, if I ever just don't put the yellow box in there, it doesn't mean anything. It's just easier to see that way. All right, so where are we at? So we bounced there a little bit, kind of bled right back through. Holding it right now. If I think the war is going to escalate to anything, on a $400 ticker, it's not much to put your stop at 379.85. If it gaps up in the morning, though, I would put my stop at 393.35. I would go long 393.35. My stop would be my profit ideally would be like 422. That's a pretty strong sell-off. I gotta say, if things do escalate, I do want to know about this one. I might take a trade in that one. He's cocky most days. Don't give him an excuse. There's a difference between cocky and confident. I've just been doing this a while. But that will wrap it up. So are we still holding the Netflix show on the Patreon? Yeah. No, we'll be selling those. Look at Raytheon's chart. We're gonna start getting out of things in the Patreon group. And anybody wanting to join the whole lifetime thing, I hate saying this. It just sounds like a gimmick, so it just sounds cheesy and sleazy saying it. But that link in the description, the Teachable link, that is going away. Thoughts on going along Goldman Sachs? Probably wouldn't right now. Goldman Sachs is like buying the S&P almost. We'll look at it though. Hang on. RTX. Look at Raytheon's chart. Send it. Yeah, I wouldn't care about this. I'd probably have an alert down here at the $65 mark. Right now it's doing a good job selling off. I'd rather just go short and put my stop at 73.85. No one is joining Lifetime if you keep doing these free streams with all the amazing data. You think these free streams are coming out? What are your thoughts on GS? Everything changes here in a week. When things get back from legal, everything changes. Right now we're waiting on one final review, make sure all lawyers look at everything and make sure we're good. And then that company is taken over. PXD, thank you, Dom. Thank you for that. I would have been genuinely pissed if I missed that. I don't know. With the way the market's trending right now, that's probably going to be more of a bear flag than anything else. Go Cowboys, but down 7-0. The Cowgirls are going to lose. The best joke ever was the Cowboys rating is on their helmet. 1 star. It's the best. All right, some buyers showing up. Yeah, that probably looks like it. If I had to go long, my stop would be below. It'd be 302.35. I don't think I'd take that one. A lot of other tickers out there. I did do the expected moves. Yeah, the chart is saved. I'll post that in mentorship right now for you. Just you have to look for the link. I'll put it in main chat. Okay, so PXD, there was a merger with XOM situation. Did they say what they are going to buy it at? Because a lot of times a merger will gap up and then just flat out go sideways. Like they know the price is going to go there and it's just going to get pinned and stay. Because why would you short it? Why would you go long if you know they're gonna buy it out at that? If there's an opportunity there, like if the deal falls out, it comes crashing back down. If the deal goes through, it kind of just stays flat. Do I own any BPTRX? I do not. Pioneer Natural Gas. Okay, so the question was, what are my thoughts on mergers? Is it worth selling Tesla puts? No. If you want to own them, yeah, but if the market's going to start crashing, I would really ease up on on selling puts and catching the knives. If this war is going to escalate into something big, the last thing we need to be doing, because no matter what roundabout way, everything's going to feel it. There's going to be a certain gravity to things. And at that point, you were just selling puts for no reason. Like you could have just waited, maybe sold some further strikeouts. Could have just been better. Okay, how do you play merger rumors? Okay, buy and sell the news, call spread. PXD reported to be acquired by XOM last Friday. I would rather sell a call spread. Remember when people were buying it? I don't know who the brainless people were, but remember when Twitter was going to get bought for $44 billion or $44 a share? I was selling the 45 strike calls. People were buying them. I'm like, who is buying this garbage? Like they just said 44. What are they gonna say? Like, you know what? That meeting was so nice. I actually want to pay more. Yeah, I do. I want to amend all the contracts, and I want to pay you 46 per share. Like what is going on? So if there's any kind of price as to where they would peg it at, what they want to buy it for, what the valuation is, I would try to sell some out of the money call spreads out of that, because it's probably not going to go any higher. What are the chances of that happening? Slim to none. And if they don't do the deal, then it sells back off. Do you still have the same position on buying index funds right now, or do you think it would be a good idea if you're not going to trade for a couple months, waiting for the new Patreon? So I wouldn't wait for the new Patreon. You're talking about when we start over. All of that stays the same. Patreon and the just because people are saying this, my Patreon account is going to be there, but with the new company taking over, once they do that, there's no more signups. So right now it's a revolving door. You can come, you can go, do whatever you want. But the door's going to close. So if you leave, there's no kind of coming back in. It's going to stay there forever. So there's not going to be anything new. But at the end of the year, we're going to start fresh. We're just going to put all that money into the S&P. That's it. So right now, for those of you guys that are following that, I'm still going to be accumulating. If you guys see me say I'm buying Tesla or Meta, that's staying even after the new year. I don't think I can sell those. I'm just too bullish on those. Do I think the markets will sell off? Yeah, I think we're already underway. That was already a big open, and yeah, I'm waiting to see if that breaks. If we don't break below this, maybe there's a chance of hope. That's why we drew that line out in the beginning. NASDAQ, let's see if we get below that. Then as far as the Russell, we just haven't seen a Sunday open like this in a long time, and I think that's enough to cause some red flags. So I would be cautious until we get some volume into the markets outside of Monday. Just kind of see where everyone's at, see how this escalates. I made so much money selling puts on Twitter when the merger closed. People were buying the 25s. Oh man, yeah, it was crazy when people were like, "Here's the numbers." Now I can get like selling puts because the 25s, they might have been cheap enough to like to take something like that. I can almost even entertain that, but to think someone's gonna just come out and say I'm gonna buy it for more, come on, what world do you live in? Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here, ladies and gentlemen. Midship Group, you'll see me bright and early in the morning. Everyone else, you'll see me on Tuesday. So remember, bonds are closed tomorrow. It's just the stock market. So I'd expect things to probably act a little wonky. So let's see how tomorrow is. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll see you beautiful people in the next stream. Have a good one.